Anyone like to chant this prayers?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamala Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhu.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me to your wonderful association. So you have any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances, all glory to Shri Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, I have one question, Prabhu. So Prabhu, just last week, no, there was one, I was listening to the lecture of His Grace Tatavit Prabhu, and it was on how we can be strong in Krishna conscious and all that. So in that, Prabhu quoted one verse, Prabhu, it is from Bhagavad Gita 2.3. It's a basic thing where Krishna says that give up this petty weakness which is there in your heart. So that Prabhu was also mentioning that weakness is also one of the reasons which pulls us back, or we have to give up.
Yes.
I mean, this weakness takes so many forms, Prabhu, based on our level. It could be attachment first comes as family, then even in devotees' life there will be prejudices, there will be some attachments. So is it so easy to give up? I mean, this our bhakti process itself will make it slowly to give away, but I just want to understand more about that weakness part, Prabhu, and how we can give up so easily.
Well, the main thing is that you must have a spiritual master.
Okay.
If you don't have a guru, like in this case, Arjuna, the reason why he could give up is because he surrendered to Krishna.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, without that surrender to Guru, it's not possible to give up all this attachment. The main thing is the attachment.
Yes, Prabhu.
Because you attach to anything other than Krishna, that's an illusion. You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
Spiritually speaking, you are not connected to anybody, because all of them are temporary connection. You understand? So until you get connected to Krishna, then only you become detached. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
So how to get that attachment unless you have a spiritual master who can connect you to Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu.
If you don't have a guru, then you have your attachment as your inspiration. Your wife, your children, your family, all these things will be your job. All these things will be your, what we say, your inspiration. But the moment you change that to Krishna, then that's another thing again. By serving Krishna, then of course you will have it, your wife and family and all that, unless you have renounced. But your understanding of the attachment changes. You follow?
Yes, Prabhu.
So that purification can only take place with the help of a guru.
Yes, Prabhu.
Just like now you're coming to all these classes and you're hearing, not only here you hear so many people's classes, but you're getting to understand what is Maya and what is Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Is it not?
Yes, Prabhu.
So unless you know who you are, then how to come out of Maya? Right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So if you don't take shelter of the spiritual master, then this thing cannot work. You cannot come out of your attachment. It's not possible.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, now it makes a lot of sense, Prabhu. I think Arjuna heard this Bhagavad Gita for half an hour or 45 minutes and he could give up. So what you said is Guru makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah, without Guru, forget it. Our life changed because of Guru. Yes, we gave up all our career, everything because of Guru. Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
So no Guru means you are hopping on the fence. You understand? You cannot make the decision because your attachment will be overwhelming because you are there with them every day, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Very hard to give up this attachment. Explained by even Lord Brahma. Can you read?
Yes, Prabhu. My dear Lord Krishna, until people become your devotees, their material attachments and desires remain thieves. Their homes remain prisons, and their affectionate feelings for their family members remain foot shackles. Hari Bol. Their material attachment and desires remain thieves. Hari Bol.
This is spoken by Lord Brahma. Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
So therefore, you need a spiritual master, Without spiritual master, you cannot come out of Maya.
Because a person who has been covered by ignorance since time immemorial is not capable of effecting his own self-realization. There must be some other personality who is in factual knowledge of the absolute truth and can impart this knowledge to him.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Without the help of the spiritual master, it is not possible to make any kind of advancement. No?
Yeah, there's a very famous verse. Yes, Prabhu. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta. Yeah. Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual masters.
See this?
Yes, Prabhu, leaving aside all material considerations. So that's an attachment, right, Prabhu? That if we do not leave aside.
Because we are attached to Krishna, then you're not attached to Maya. If you are attached to Maya, then how you can be attached to Krishna? Does that make sense, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu.
All this verse is about
accepting the bona fide spiritual master as one's life and soul and worshipable deity. The disciple should learn from him the process of pure devotion service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, the soul of all souls, is inclined to give himself to his pure devotees. Therefore, the disciple should learn from the spiritual master to serve the Lord without duplicity and in such a faithful and favorable way that the Supreme Lord, being satisfied, will offer himself to the faithful disciple.
Unless you get Krishna, otherwise how you can come out of all this Maya? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
That's why here is stressed by Rupa Goswami. Explain here. Rupa Goswami is explaining Guru Padashraya Tasmat Krishna Diksha Adi Shikshanam Visrambena Guruhu Seva Sadhu Vatman Anuvartanam. This is the verse. Can you see? Accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. Becoming initiated by the spiritual master and learning how to discharge devotional service from him. Obeying the orders of the spiritual master, faith and devotion. And lastly, following in the footsteps of great acharyas, teachers, under the direction of the spiritual master. So see, 1 to 4, it's nothing but spiritual master.
Yes, Prabhu.
So if you don't have spiritual master, that means you don't have spiritual life.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Another big problem, everybody thinks that we can get initiated by a Ritvik representative and become a Prabhupada disciple, But this part they don't want to know.
Yeah.
Huh?
How to discharge devotion service from him.
How to do this? Correct? So therefore you need some Shiksha guidance. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you don't have that, then how are you going to learn how to do devotional service? It's a lot difficult, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhu.
So there are many, many people who say, oh yes, now I have become Prabhupada disciple, and I don't know what they are doing. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you need to be trained. You need to be trained how to serve the spiritual master. That training is very, very important. If there's no training, then again these weeds, will again manifest in the heart. That's why we say there's now all the weakness. Huh? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
So a person has to be very careful to keep all these weeds away, no? It's explained here.
So offenses come out of the weaknesses, Prabhu, or
Yeah, offenses come when you go into your false ego thinking you are the doer, no?
Right.
Correct.
So the root cause for that is also kind of can we say it's a weakness?
Yeah, weakness means you are materially got bewildered, no? Just like
yes, Prabhu.
got bewildered. Yeah. So when you get bewildered, then all these things will manifest in your heart. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
So therefore we have to be very careful, no?
Yeah.
Otherwise, again, we will fall down. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you see how dangerous it is, Therefore, we have to be always in association of devotees, and they will protect us. Yes?
They will protect us. Yes, Prabhu. That's right.
So we have to be, that's why we are safe, we are humble and take association of devotees. If we don't have association devotees, then we will always be with the association of our mind. And that is the dangerous thing, no?
Most dangerous, Prabhu.
So you can see here how a devotee will sometimes slip out, Can read this one, no?
In the commenting on the cleansing of the Gundicha temple, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as the world teacher, was personally giving instructions on how one should receive Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, within one's cleansed and pacified heart. Oh, if one wants to see Krishna seated in his heart, he must first cleanse the heart as prescribed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshashtaka, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. In this age, everyone's heart is especially unclean, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Hridayantastho abhadrani. To wash away all dirty things accumulated within the heart, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised everyone to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. The first result will be that the heart is cleansed. Cheto Darpanam. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam confirms this statement. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Hari Bol. Okay. If a devotee at all wants to cleanse his heart, he must chant and hear the glories of the Lord Sri Krishna. Srinvatam Swakadah Krishnaha. This is a simple process. Krishna himself will help cleanse the heart because he is already seated there. Krishna wants to continue living within the heart and the Lord wants to give directions. But one has to keep his heart as clean as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept the Gundicha temple. The devotee therefore has to cleanse his heart just as the Lord cleansed the Gundicha temple. In this way, one can be pacified and enriched in devotional service. If the heart is filled with straw, grains of sand, weeds, or dust, in other words, Anyabhilasha Purna, one cannot enthrone the Supreme Personality of Godhead there. The heart must be cleansed of all material motives brought about through fruitive work, speculative knowledge, the mystic yoga system, and so many other forms of so-called meditation. The heart must be cleansed without ulterior motive. The heart must be cleansed of all material motives, and these are brought by fruitive works, speculative knowledge, mystic yoga systems. So all this, even mystic yoga system and other forms of meditation, it means it kinds of pollutes the heart, right, Prabhu?
Yes, karma yoga, jnana yoga, and this Astanga yoga, all these are all, they're considered as, impurities, because they all have got motives. That's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, no, only by devotional service you can understand. Right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you read on, you can understand more.
Yes, Prabhu, you mentioned the heart must be cleansed without ulterior motive. As Srila Rupa Goswami says, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. In other words, there should not be any external motive. One should not attempt material upliftment, understanding the Supreme by speculative knowledge, fruitive activity, fruitive activity, severe austerity, and penance, and so on. All these activities are against the natural growth of the spontaneous love of Godhead. Krishna. As soon as these are present within the heart should be understood to be unclean and therefore unfit to serve as Krishna's sitting place. We cannot perceive the Lord's presence in our hearts unless our hearts are cleansed. A material desire is explained as a desire to enjoy the material world to its fullest extent, right? In modern language, this is called economic development. An inordinate desire for economic development is considered to be like straws and grains of sand within the heart. If one is overly engaged in the material activity, the heart will always remain disturbed, as stated by Narottam Das Thakur. Prabhu, can you come down? In other words, endeavor for material opulence is against the principle of devotional service. Material enjoyment includes activities such as great sacrifices for auspicious activity, charity, austerity, elevation to the higher planetary system, and even living happily within the material world. So, Prabhu, here endeavor for material opulence is against the principle of devotional service.
Yeah, because you want to use devotional service for your personal, so-called, trying to get more money and get a big house, and all this doesn't go well with devotional service,
Sometimes, Prabhu, it is said that, you do a nice job and you can, we get money and then donate to Krishna.
Yeah, but Krishna has got all the money, Why Krishna need your money? And Krishna is a beggar. You beg from him for your enjoyment and you want to give him peanuts. You think the Lord will be such a fool?
Hari bol.
Huh? If you are the Lord, will you agree for such arrangement? You give him one big house and you give him one banana. It's a good deal? Huh?
Very wonderfully put forth.
What kind of God is that? Huh?
Wonderfully said, Prabhu, really.
You guys all think the Lord is some kind of a fool, you know. You understand? In fact, after this, I can show you another verse. Maybe I'll show you that verse and come back to this. It's a very important verse here.
This one, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Madhu Prabhu, can you read from here?
Those who think material assets to be everything or to be the ultimate goal of life are called misers, krupanas. They do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. Moreover, if one awards that which is desired by such fools, he must also be considered foolish.
Understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
You follow?
Yes, Prabhu.
All this material, so-called, desires, and you want to go to the Lord and ask this. The Lord says not very happy with giving these things, And in fact, if one gives them, then he is also foolish. Yeah? You understand? So you see how the Lord is explaining that these material desires and material benefit are stumbling blocks in one's devotional service. That this material desire is telling also here, it's available even in the hellish planet. Huh? It is spoken by Rukmani here. This is spoken by the Lord to Rukmani here.
Supreme reservoir of love. Unfortunate are they who, even after obtaining me, the Lord of both liberation and material riches, anchor only for material pleasure. These worldly gains can be found even in hell. Since such persons are obsessed with sense gratification, hell is a fitting place for them.
That?
Yes, Prabhu.
Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Wow, I didn't know that. You didn't hear that, huh? You're not reading the books then.
No, I was saying I didn't even know that you can even achieve desires even in hell.
Yes.
Wow.
Although I have the power to award spiritual liberation, lusty persons worship me with penance and vows in order to get my blessings for their mundane family life. Such persons are bewildered by my illusory energy.
Madhu Prabhu, can you be a little louder, please?
Although I have the power to award spiritual liberation, lusty persons worship me with penance and vows in order to get my blessings for their mundane family life. Such persons are bewildered by my illusory energy. Is that volume okay, Prabhu, now?
Still the same, Prabhu.
I think something to do with the laptop. Prabhu, someone else can read.
Okay. Nikhil Prabhu, can you read?
So we will go back to that verse again.
Sure.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Modernized material benefits. You can start from there.
Sure. Modernized material benefits are like the dust of material contamination. When this dust is agitated by the whirlwind of fruitive activity, it overcomes the heart. Thus, the mirror of the heart is covered with dust. There are many desires to perform auspicious and inauspicious activities, but people do not know how life after life they are
Prabhu, some
keeping
part
their...
of the window is not showing completely, I think.
No, it's coming correctly here.
It's
Oh,
coming correctly.
okay. Thank you.
How life after life they are keeping their hearts unclean. One who cannot give up the desire for fruitive activity is understood to be covered by the dust of material contamination. Karmis generally think that the interaction of fruitive activities can be counteracted by another karma. Prabhu, can you scroll a little down? Another karma or fruitive activity. This is certainly a mistaken conception. If one is deluded by such a conception, he is cheated by his own activity. Such activities have been compared to an elephant's bathing. An elephant may bathe very thoroughly, but as soon as it comes out of the river, it immediately takes some sand from the land and throws it all over its body. If one suffers due to his past fruitive activities, he cannot counteract his suffering by performing auspicious activities. The sufferings of human society cannot be counteracted by material plans. Um, the only way suffering can be mitigated is by Krishna consciousness. When one takes to Krishna consciousness and engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, beginning with chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, the cleansing of the heart begins. When the heart is actually cleansed, one can clearly see the Lord sitting there without any disturbance. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord confirms that he sits within the heart of the pure devotee. Impersonal speculation, monism merging
No,
into...
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sits. The Lord confirmed that he sits within the heart of a pure devotee.
Yes. Sadhavo Hrudayam Mahyam Sadhunam Hrudayam Tva Aham. Impersonal speculation, monism merging into the existence of the Supreme. Speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and meditation are all compared to grains of sand. They simply cause irritation to the heart. No one can satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by such activities, nor do we give the Lord a chance to sit in our hearts peacefully. Rather, the Lord is simply disturbed by them. Sometimes yogis and jnanis in the beginning take to the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra as a way to begin their various practices. But when they falsely think that they have attained release from the bondage of material existence, they give up chanting. They do not consider that the ultimate goal is a form of the Lord or the name of the Lord. Such unfortunate creatures are never favored by Supreme Personality of Godhead, for they do not know what devotional service is. Lord Krishna describes them in the Bhagavad Gita in this way. Tan aham dveshataha kruran samsareshu naradhaman kshipami ajasram ashubhan ashurishva eva yonishu. Those who are envious of and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. By his practical example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown us that all the grains of sand must be picked up thoroughly and thrown outside. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also cleansed the outside of the temple, fearing that the grains of sand would again come within. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura explains that even though one may become free from the desire for fruitive activity, sometimes the subtle desire for fruitive activity again comes into being within the heart. One often thinks of conducting business to improve devotional activity, but the contamination is so strong that it may later develop into misunderstanding, described as kutinati, fault finding, and pratishtasa, the desire for name and fame and for high position, jiva himsa, envy of other living entities, nishiddhachara, accepting things forbidden in the Shastras, kama, desire for material gain, and puja, hankering for popularity. The word kutinati means duplicity. As an example of pratishtasa, one may attempt to imitate Srila Haridasa Thakura by living in a solitary place. One's real desire may be for name and fame. In other words, one thinks that fools will accept one to be as good as Haridasa Thakura just because one lives in a solitary place. These are all material desires. A neophyte devotee is certain to be attacked by other material desires as well, namely desires for women and money. In this way, the heart is again filled with dirty things and becomes harder and harder, like that of a materialist. Gradually, one desires to become a reputed devotee or an avatara, incarnation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, I just have, can you go a little up, Prabhu, here? In that, can you go a little more up? So the last line, it says the last three lines. In this way, the heart is again filled with dirty things and becomes harder and harder. The last line in this one only, last line. The last line, Prabhu. In this way, yeah. So what I understand is, even if the heart is cleansed, that subtle desire will make it dirty again.
Correct.
Is that right, Prabhu?
So when a person does not follow very strictly the order of the spiritual master, then these material desires will again come back.
Yes, Prabhu.
Understand? So then you start thinking that, no, we need a lot of money, so let me go and do some business. I'll bring all the money and then I will start, Do you understand?
Yes, Prabhu. The one you highlighted is really nice, Prabhu.
See that?
Yes.
So this is all contamination, no? You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
So therefore we have to be very careful. Once you get into making money, then all material desires will come in again.
So the weakness may...
You understand this point?
Yes, Prabhu.
So that's why fruitive activity is never encouraged, Karma yoga is never, trying to go and get money by work and all this stuff,
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, then people who are working, who want to give up, but the situations right now may not be suitable. So, is it okay if we just move to different place and give up the whole work life? Or stay in the same place and engage
Let Krishna make the move for you, you know.
Okay.
You keep praying and Krishna will take you out. Krishna can take you out in a moment, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Correct? So better to let Krishna do it than you do artificially, and then again you all become mental again. Oh, I shouldn't have given up, you know, I got so many problems. You understand?
Mm.
So this whole thing is Krishna has to make the thing for you.
Mm.
How he does it, that you patiently wait and see.
Mm.
Yes?
Sure, Prabhu.
So, but you must be praying for detachment, not that you pray for attachment, no? That's the idea of this whole thing. That you start thinking with your mind, you know, that no, I think I will, you know, do this and do that and do this, you know. The devotee is always surrendering to Guru and Krishna. How can I, you know, surrender my whole life to you? So the moment that the living entity decides to do that, then Krishna in the heart, he dictates, no? Yes?
Yes, true.
So we have to wait for Krishna to, you know, change our situation. Otherwise, you know, it'll become premature, you know, you understand? And you may get into troubles. Correct? One moment this, one moment that, you're not sure. So many things, no? Yes?
Yes, true.
You understand?
Yes, Prabhu. Wonderful, Prabhu. Very nice.
So therefore, when you get into, again, doing all your businesses, then you know, this thing comes in, you know. All these anarthas will come. Just go here for a while and come back. Oh, what happened? Can't even go to another one. Program gets short or what? Hare Krishna.
Is it hanging, Prabhu?
Not hanging. I can't go to my... I want to show you some things. Not going to F2.
Krishna wanting us to read this paragraph 10 times, Prabhu.
It's another key for this, I think. But give me a minute. I close this and I'll come back. Huh?
Sure.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
Sometimes this computers... So you can see how, you know, Maya is so powerful, you know. Sometimes we are devotees, we think, you know, after all, you know, it's only service for Krishna, you know. Yeah. That way we get also tricked by Maya, you know. You follow? So devotees, that's why need to be guided, you know, carefully, how they, you know, perform their devotional service, you see. So when they get into making money, these are all these unwanted things will develop in the heart, you know. Theft, violence. Because you make money, you must speak lies, right? Speaking lies, duplicity, lust, anger, perplexity, pride, quarreling, enmity, faithlessness, envy, and the dangers caused by women, gambling, intoxication are the 15 undesirable qualities that contaminate man because of greed for wealth. See that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Although these qualities are undesirable, man falsely ascribes value to them. One desiring to achieve the real benefit of life should therefore remain aloof from undesirable material wealth. Understand? So the moment you commit offenses, then all these kind of thoughts will start coming into the heart, no? Understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
In fact, devotees who are in Krishna consciousness only, they show this duplicity so much, Prabhu. In the other times. So.
Karmis are always soaked in Maya already, there's nothing more for them. Whereas devotees are trying to put one leg out, so they get very much implicated, no? Yes.
That's true.
So therefore, we have to be very careful in our. That's why guided by Guru.
So that means, Prabhu, if the heart becomes strong, there are no chances of falling down or
falling down. The moment you become, what we say, second, you become second class devotee, then you never fall down.
Yes.
So to become second class is not a cheap thing, no?
Yeah.
Right? So that means you need the mercy of Guru, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. That's why we have to be very serious with our sadhana. Then if we are contaminated, then we start blaming other devotees and finding fault, Just now we saw, no? Fault finding. This
yes,
kutinati, no? Fault finding, see? So all these are all weeds, The moment we start finding fault with devotees, then our downfall is pretty much, I would say it's a matter of time before you leave the association of devotees. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna and Dhammas Pranam, Sundar Gopal, Prabhu.
Yes.
I do have one question. If you have time. Prabhu, when is it? When do you know when to stop to preach to a person? Like when they are not hearing your advice after many days of preaching to them, or how do you know that your time is not being wasted? Hare Krishna.
As long as you are doing something connected to Krishna, then you know you're not wasting time, no? Yes? Correct? Yes. If your activity is Krishna conscious, then you know it's been used properly. But when you use that time for your own kind of, let's say you want to watch all these movies or whatever, this is Maya. Yes?
Yes.
So when you're wasting time and because you are you're having your own consciousness, no? Yes?
Yes.
You don't need someone to tell you, of course. You also know where you're going off track, no? Because of false ego, if somebody tell you, for example, someone is chanting and he's falling asleep, you wake him up and you shout at you, don't disturb me, I'm chanting, he's sleeping, Huh? Correct. He gets very angry, because anyone who wakes up from sleeping, always they are very angry, because ignorance. You understand? Yeah. So devotee, you can see practical example. So this is just an example, This happens common, yes. And you start hating the person, he's trying to help you, wake you up, and you hate him, I am deep meditation, I'm thinking of Krishna, and he's disturbing me. You see? You start speculating. Yes or not? Come on, let's be very honest. Is it not?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So this is how you know you are in Maya. Someone wakes you up, you are upset. You understand? That's why to train people up, you need someone to first surrender. And you need somebody that he will accept as an authority. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You understand? Are you following?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to, that's why take directions and you know, okay, I'm doing a Krishna conscious activity. And if you are neophyte, you're beginning, then you must be guided all the time. Otherwise, always finding excuses to take rest and I'm tired, Prabhu. When you come to prasadam, you're never tired, you know. You know, something is wrong, correct? See? So this is how there are rules and regulations laid out by the spiritual master, the do's and the don'ts and everything. Then you are growing properly. But you don't have any guidance, then your growth will be stifled. Because as he says, you know, you don't know how to distinguish what is wheat and what is actually the devotional creeper. So you are, instead of watering the devotional creeper, you will start watering the weeds. And then the weeds will overgrow and that's it. Your devotional creeper will be stifled. Yes?
Correct.
Hmm. So therefore, you need someone help to pull out these weeds for you. Hey, this is no good. No, don't do this. No, do this, you know. Then you are safe. That's why it says, I think I showed the last week, no, you must have association of advanced devotee. Yes?
Yes, true.
100%.
You don't have that, then, you know, all your advancement is based on your mental speculation, even though you are in devotional service. Yeah? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be compromising, or you will try to look for substandards. Oh, he's a big devotee, you know, he's doing it, you know, so I can also do it, right? Isn't it? So we find means and means to, you know, compromise Maya and take it easy. It's called Sahajya. Then that's it, our devotional service will be finished. Just like, give you another example, if you sleep Mangalarti, you wake up and then you go, okay, you go, and then next day again you do that. The next day, and eventually it'll become a habit. Yes?
Yes, true.
Yes, Prabhu.
That's it. Your spiritual life is finished. Like I see many people who are many years in the movement. Oh, Mangalarti, oh, that's something I have not done for years. Huh?
Mm.
And they are so-called senior devotees. How is it possible? They don't know the signs, you know. How are you going to get realizations if you don't follow this strictly? Huh? Tell me. Not possible.
Impossible.
Impossible. You have to put in your austerity, you know. Yes?
Mm.
So therefore, we have to learn. That's why you see here, see how Prabhupada is explaining all your desires. He's breaking it down in this whole verse, correct?
Mm.
Huh? Can you read on? Even though all dirty things may be cleansed away. Can you read?
Yes. Even though all dirty things may be cleansed away, sometimes subtle desires will remain in the mind for impersonalism, monism, success, and four principles of religious activities: dharma, artha, karma, and moksha. All these are the spots on the clean cloth. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to cleanse all this away. By his practical activity, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed us how to cleanse our hearts. Once the heart is cleansed, we should invite Lord Shri Krishna to sit down, and we should observe the festival by distributing prasadam and chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to teach every devotee by his personal behavior. Everyone who spreads the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts a similar responsibility. The Lord was personally chastising and praising individuals in the course of cleaning, and those who are engaged as acharyas must learn from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu how to train devotees by personal example. The Lord was very pleased with those the Lord was, let's see here. Yes, okay. Thank you. The Lord was very pleased with those who could cleanse the temple by taking out undesirable things accumulated within. This is called Arnartana Ritti, cleansing the heart of all unwanted things. Thus, the cleansing of the Guncha Mandir was conducted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to let us know how the heart should be cleansed and soothed to relieve Lord Sri Krishna and enable him to sit within the heart without disturbance.
So you see, so when you clean your heart properly, then the Lord will also be inspiring you, no? Yes? Yeah?
Correct.
You get more enthusiasm, you're more fired up. But if you don't clean your heart and you space out, then how? Huh? Yes? If you try, see here, the moment we offend our spiritual master, I'm showing you. So Ramachandra Puri, you offended his guru. Huh? The moment you offended the guru, Ramachandra Puri was thus denounced by Madhavendra Puri due to his offense. Gradually, material desires appeared within him. So that's now we read, no? Yes. So the moment you offend, then again, all the material desire manifests. Anyone want to read this?
The word Vaishnava,
Vasana.
Oh, sorry. Vasana.
Yeah, material desires.
Material desires refers to dry speculative knowledge. Such speculative knowledge is only material. As confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.4, a person without devotional service who simply wants to know things, Kevala Bodha Labdhaya, gains only dry speculative knowledge, but no spiritual profit. This is confirmed in the Bhakti Sundar 111, where it is said,
you can read the English, no?
Yes. Even though one is liberated in this life, if one offers the supreme
offense.
If one offends the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he falls down in the midst of material desires, which dry speculation.
Of which dry speculation?
Excuse me. He falls down in the midst of material desires, of which dry speculation about the spiritual realization is one.
So when a person offends, then material desires and merging into the Lord, Brahmana effulgence becomes attracted to him. You understand? Even if one is liberated in this life, he becomes addicted to material desires because of offense the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if you are liberated, the moment you offend, the material desires will again take place in the heart. Understand? So a similar quotation from one of the Puranas also appears in the Vishnu Bhakti Chandrodaya. Jiva Mukta Prapadyante Kechit Samsara Vasanam. See this word Samsara Vasana means getting again back to the cycle of birth and death. Yogino na vilipyante karmabir bhagavat paraha. When even liberated souls sometimes fall down to material desire, but those who fully engage in devotional service to the Lord are not affected by such desires. You see this word? Those who are fully engaged. I mean, fully means what? 24 hours a day. Yes? Hello?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes. This is how you can combat that. That means you have to become very strict in your sadhana. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
There's no two way about that, you know. You cannot space out and think you're going home back to Godhead, boy. These are the reference from authoritative revealed scripture. If one becomes an offender to a spiritual master or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he falls down to the material platform to merely speculate. That's another thing. Always speculating and speculating. This is why in our case, we always show you evidences. Yes?
Yes.
There's no room for speculation in our ISKM. No speaker can speak his head off, you know. If he's speaking his head off means he has offended his guru. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
They cannot explain. In fact, if you go and speak, you must teach, no? Correct? You see, like now you're learning so many things. Yes?
Yes.
It's all coming from Prabhupada books only. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not taking from any other place. Yes?
Correct.
So how much Prabhupada has given? And these rascals are not taking and they're writing their own books. What is the use? You see, you ask me a question from 2-3 Bhagavad Gita, how many verses we have gone? Huh?
Mind-blowing, Prabhu. I never expected this.
It's all in Prabhupada books. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. From weakness of heart to the cleansing of heart to the material desires to the falling down, Krishna. It's mind-blowing.
So where is that you cannot, what do you say? That's why it's also said here, so important verse, this one. This process is so... You want to give up your material desires. See. Help read. Anyone?
Translation. If one who is embarrassed by hunger, or who falls down, or stumbles chants the holy name of the Lord even once, willingly or unwillingly, he is immediately freed from the reactions of his past deeds. Karmis entangled in the material activities face many difficulties in the practice of mystic yoga and other endeavors to achieve that same freedom.
So that chanting Krishna's name is so important. Yes?
Yes.
Yes or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Without the chanting, this thing cannot work. Huh? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
It doesn't chant, then it's going to be difficult. See, this is engaging in sense gratification, material activities, very difficult,
I think even in the purport here of this verse, Prabhu, it is mentioned about
this
material possessions.
This purport is very important. It's about Nama Bhasha. But just give me 1 minute. I go here and come back.
Yes, Prabhu.
So you see here how he has to give up all these material desires, all material activities. That's why this karma thing cannot work, You understand? This karma yoga it's not. That's why we have to do devotional service, That's the thing. So yeah, just now we read this verse is also very important here. You want to read, anyone? Any other volunteers?
Arun Prabhu, do you want to read?
Nobody wants to read?
Kirtida Mataji can read.
Yes, Hare Krishna, I can read. It is not a fact that one has to offer his material possessions through the Supreme Personality of a Godhead and be liberated before he can engage in a devotional service. A devotee automatically attains a liberation without a separate endeavors. Bali Maharaj did not get back all his material possession merely because of his clarity to the Lord. One who becomes a devotee free from the material desire and the motives regards all opportunities, both material and spiritual, as a benedictions of the Lord, and in this way his service to the Lord is never hampered. Bhakti, material enjoyment, and the mukti, liberation, are only byproduct of the devotional service. A devotee need not work separately to attain mukti. Srila Bilva Mangala Thakura said, Mukti hi swayam
Mukundanjali.
Mukuntanjali hi sevate sman.
A pure devotee.
A pure devotee of the Lord does not have to endeavor separately for the mukti, because mukti is always ready to serve him. In this regard, Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 3.177 to 188 describe Haridasa Thakura's confirmation of the effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord. Some says that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is free from all the reaction of the sinful life. And others say that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one attains the liberation from the material bondage. Haridasa kahena namera iyu dui phala naya namera phala Krishna pade prema upajya. Haridasa Thakuras, however, said that the desired result of chanting the holy name of the Lord is not that one is liberated from the material bondage or free from the reaction of the sinful life. The actual result of chanting the holy name of the Lord is that one awakens his dormant Krishna consciousness, his loving service to the Lord. Haridasa Thakura said that liberation and freedom from the reaction of the sinful activity are only byproduct of the chanting the holy name of the Lord. If one chants the holy name of the Lord purely, he attains the platform of loving service to the Supreme Personality of a Godhead. In this regard, Haridasa Thakura gave an example comparing the power of the holy name to sunshine. He placed verses before all the learned scholars present, but the learned scholars asked him to state the purport of the verse. Haridasa Thakura said that as the sun began to rise, it dissipates the darkness of the night, even before the sunshine is visible. Before the sunrise even take place, the light of the dawn destroy the fear of the dangers of the night, such as the disturbance by the thieves, ghosts, and rakshasas. And when the sunshine actually appears, one engaged in his duties. Similarly, even before one chanting of the holy name is pure, one is free from all sinful reaction. And when he chants purely, he becomes a lover of Krishna. A devotee never accepts mukti, even if Krishna offers it. Mukti, freedom from all sinful reaction, is obtained even by the namabhasa, or the glimpse of the light of the holy name. Before its full light is preferably visible. The namabhasa stage is between that of the nama aparada, or the chanting of the holy name with the offenses, and a pure chanting. There are the three stages in a chanting of the holy name of the Lord. In the first stage, one committed 10 kind of the offenses while chanting. In the next stage, namabhasa, the offenses have almost stopped, and one is coming to this platform of the pure chanting. In the third stage, when one chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra without offenses, his dormant love for Krishna immediately awakens. This is the perfection.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Very nice.
So therefore, the chanting is the what we say, the only way to overcome all these anarthas in the heart. You know? Yes. There's no other way. There's no other way. There's no other way. No.
Yeah.
Right. And Krishna will not accept from anybody anything when he has got some contamination, no? So when there's contamination, then the Lord will not accept, no? You want to read this?
This is the quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.29.34. At the time of the initiation, a devotee gives up all his material conceptions. Therefore, being in touch with the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, is situated on the transcendental platform. Thus, having attained the knowledge and the spiritual platform, he always engages in the service of the spiritual body of the Krishna. When one is freed from the material connections, in this way his body immediately becomes spiritual, and Krishna accepts his service. However, Krishna does not accept anything from a person with the material conception of a life. When the devotee no longer has any desire for the material sense gratification in his spiritual identity, he engaged in the service of the Lord, for his dormant spiritual consciousness awakens. This awakening of the spiritual consciousness makes his body spiritual, and thus he becomes fit to render a service to the Lord. Karmis may consider the body of the devotee material, but factually it is not, for a devotee has no conception of the material enjoyment. If one thinks that the body of the pure devotee is material, he is an offender, for that is a Vaishnava aparadha. In this connection, one should consult Srila Sanatana Goswami's Brahad Bhagavatamrita 1.3.45 and 2.3.139. In Vaikuntha, the residents have a Satchid Ananda bodies and may avail themselves of the supreme opulences of the Lord Hari. They have Satchid Ananda powers and equal to his, but the residents of Vaikuntha do not like to accept such a qualities with the Lord. In Vaikuntha and elsewhere, the transcendental nature of the devotional activity spontaneously shows itself in the suitably formed Satchid Ananda bodies of the Lord's devotees, bodies composed of the limbs and senses.
So this is from Brahad Bhagavad Amrita.
You have this book also, Prabhu?
This is by Sanatan Goswami. I think it is here in the folio.
Oh, in the folio it is there. Okay.
So you can see how Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga are all contamination, You will get, you can, what we say, not make so much advancement. That's why Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he asked every one of us to abandon all varieties of dharma, no? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Why he said this? Why he did say this finally? Because other things will not help, no? Yes? Sarva dharma parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja tuham tvam sarva pabebhyo mukshyashyami masuchaha. So abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So why he has to say this, Because nothing else will work beside devotion. If you go into karma yoga, you still get reaction. Desires will come in, especially all these people who do this karma kanda stuff, no? Correct?
Yes, true.
This karma kanda thing is very dangerous, I already explained, all these weeds will manifest in the heart. Especially these Indians, they always like to do this Havan and Havan, no? They think Havan is more important, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Huh?
Yes,
correct. Everything they call Havan, but they don't chant, Yes or not?
Yes, true.
This is the karma kanda thing, This is what they do. Worship the demigods. See? The worshippers of demigod think we shall worship the demigod in this life, and by our sacrifice we shall go to heaven and enjoy there. When that enjoyment is finished, we will return to this world and take birth as great householders in aristocratic families. When excessively proud and greedy, such persons are bewildered by the flowery words of the Vedas. They're not attracted to topics about me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You understand? This is all the Vedavada, you know? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
That is Karma Kanda. All these Indians are very expert in this, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
I see here Krishna is saying Traikunya Vishaya Veda. Very politely is saying Vedas deal mainly with subject of the three modes of material nature, O Arjuna. Become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxiety for gain and safety. To be established in the self. Yes. He didn't want Arjuna to get into this karma thing, you know, correct? Yes. Here he says, don't do it. There he says, go above. Here he says, a devotee should never engage in fruitive ritual mentioned in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. So karma is banned actually. You understand? No, should become atheistic, taking all this thing will happen the moment a person offends the spiritual master or the Lord. Yes, he will become atheistic, acting or speaking in opposition to the Vedic injunctions. Like now you see, the Vedas and Prabhupada saying don't put any woman as gurus. They are going against. Yes or not?
Yeah, they're going,
They said, Prabhupada said, nobody can become guru because you're conditioned soul. They put conditioned soul as guru. Yes. Everything he said don't do, they're doing. Correct?
Yes,
Hello?
Prabhu.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
This is verse showing. All this will come when you offend the spiritual master. Similarly, you should never speak like a mere logician or skeptic or take any side whatsoever in useless arguments. All the do's and the don'ts, and they are going against. Correct? Yes. All this will come when you offend the spiritual master. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So it's a very dangerous thing
Prabhu,
to
one
do.
second. In that last line, arguments, can you give some example, Prabhu?
Any side useless arguments, you know, somebody is arguing and you like now, okay, some guy is saying India, the Muslim guys are crazy. Some guy is saying the Hindu guys they should be more tolerant. So all these are useless arguments, no? When you get into politics, there's always pro and cons, correct? Yes? So our idea is to be above from this. No, both are rascals anyway. Huh? Understand? Just an example. So America, you know, the Republicans were better, you know, they rule the country best, you know. And look at Biden, he's crazy, you know. Yeah? But both are crazy. Yes? So you're taking sides. You're taking, you know, you're going to the Republican camp or you're going to the Democratic camp or whatever, you know. But both are useless because it's not based on Krishna. You understand my example?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, sir.
So we should not go on this side or that side. You know. Any side other than Krishna. Because Krishna is expert in bewildering, no? Bewildering anyone. See?
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, who possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, acting from within the cores of the hearts of all philosophers who propagate various views. He causes them to forget their own souls while sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing among themselves. Thus, he creates within this material world a situation in which they are unable to come to a conclusion. I offer my obeisances unto him.
That's what it is. Yes?
Yes.
Huh? Krishna is bewildering and we also go and get bewildered. Then what is our position? Yes or not?
Yes.
So we should carry on our devotional service and not get disturbed by all this stuff, And then Krishna will give us this intelligence how to come out.
By interaction of my energies, different opinions arise. But for those who have fixed their intelligence on me and control their senses, differences of perception disappear, and consequently, the very cause for argument is removed.
Yes. Correct. Yes or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
So that's why we don't want to go into all these crazy things, We just do what Krishna has advised us, and Krishna will take us out of Maya. So that's why we should learn how to follow in the footsteps of Mahajans, spiritual master. If you don't follow the spiritual master, then all these things will come, one thing after the other. Correct? Bewilderment. You get bewildered. You think, Krishna is not a fool, he can immediately bewilder you. Yes?
Yes, true. Yes, true.
Yes or not? Who can, huh? So it's advice here, Says here. Tarko pratishta surtayo vibinam naswarishi yasya matam nabinam dharmasya tattvam nihita guhayam mahajano yena gataha sapantaha. Please read.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, dry arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized person. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajanas advocate.
This is from Mahabharata, Yes? No speculation cannot work. The only thing is to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Then everything becomes crystal clear. That's now we read the argument, right? Mahajan, we're following that. Spiritual master, 11:3:21. Right? So that is the only way. Take shelter of a pure devotee, and by serving him, you get enlightened. Then you understand what is what. Because if you go into this path of arguing and trying to speculate and all that, you will be confused. That's why Indians, they got all the books in India. Why are they confused? They have big temples of Krishna, Tirupati, you name it, so many places. Yes?
Yes, bro.
Why are they confused?
Because they're not following the Mahajanas.
There is no guru.
No.
There is no guru at all. Practically, they have forgotten this principle of guru. Now it is totally gone. No guru business. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's also guru, all crazy guys are there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? So they cannot come to a proper conclusion. This is confirmed. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So try to think, how you can go to Krishna. That's why Prabhupada is so kind,
Mm-hmm.
given us all this. Prabhupada actually, he did one thing. He concentrated on writing his purports. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Imagine if we don't have his books, what we will do?
Nothing would have stayed here as Krishna conscious.
Everybody will write his crazy thing, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be all in total confusion. That's why Prabhupada said, anything you want to learn, it's in my books. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Then
Prabhu.
no confusion, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to read. That's another big problem. You don't want to read the book. You don't want to read his book. This is what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is what will happen if you don't read the book. You want to read this? Please read.
Men become strong and stout by eating sufficient grains, but the devotee who simply eats ordinary grains but does not taste the transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna gradually becomes weak and falls down from the transcendental position. However, if one drinks but a drop of the nectar of Krishna's pastimes, his body and mind begin to bloom and he begins to laugh, sing, and dance. All the devotees connected with the Krishna consciousness movement must read all the books that have been translated, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and others. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep, and fall down from their position. Thus, they will miss the opportunity to attain an eternal blissful life of transcendental pleasure.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, Prabhu.
So very dangerous, correct? No
Yes,
hearing, no
dangerous.
hearing, no hearing, right? Huh?
Very, very dangerous.
No, I already know, Same thing, no, Prabhupada is saying the same thing over and over again. No, sometimes isn't it very boring?
No,
huh?
not true.
Yes.
It's true. A lot of people say that.
Yes, they say like that. No, I read already. No, I know. Same thing, no. Prabhupada say you're not the body, and come on, Krishna is God, come on. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's the problem. Yes. Material desires, when you come in, you talk like that. No interest to hear. Interest is to eat and sleep, Prabhupada said here, no? What are you going to have today? Pizza? We're going to have pizza today? Oh, very nice.
This is more than the pizza. Very, very, really, Ruchi is so much.
Tomorrow we will have something else. Like this, we are always meditating what to eat and sleep, no? Yes. So a devotee who is not serious, he cannot preach. Then everything will collapse.
Prabhu, while preaching also, what should be the mode if whether one is accepting or not, I mean listening or not, we should continue our preaching even there are just four walls?
Yes. That's what Prabhupada told us. Whatever it is, you conduct the program because it's not only preaching for others. When you speak about Krishna, you also get
getting purified. Yeah.
Understand? Preaching is not one-sided, no. So when we speak about Krishna, we also become, Krishna is happy, Krishna is in our heart. So when you glorify him, he is more than happy. And that's the only way to come out of this. Yes?
Yes, true.
That's why chanting and hearing and preaching is so important. Very, very important.
Even if he be distressed or degraded, any person who chants the holy name of the Lord, having heard it from a bona fide spiritual master, is immediately purified. Even if he chants the Lord's name jokingly or by chance, he and anyone who hears him are freed from all sins. Therefore, how can anyone seeking disentanglement from the material clutches avoid chanting the name of Lord Shesha? Of whom else should one take shelter?
Yes.
Yes.
This is preaching, no?
Mm-hmm.
You're going out, you speaking, you giving books. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are getting purified. So when they're going to take up more seriously, that's between Krishna and the soul,
Mm-hmm.
But the process is already activated.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That's why we are asked to go out and distribute books, give out prasadam, chant Hare Krishna. So many things we are asked to do, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We have the conditions so. There is no other way to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the whole world. Everyone is completely messed up. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Inflation is so high, the goods are becoming so expensive. They cannot, spend money because there's no money. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
There's a war, there's a pandemic. What more you can go into?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice place, heavenly. Huh?
No,
It's very heavenly now.
no problem.
Yeah. Imagine the hardship the living entity is going through.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you don't take shelter of Krishna, then Krishna will make things very difficult. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a fact.
No one is dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor is anyone his enemy or friend. But he gives inspiration to those who have forgotten him,
But not forgot.
those who have not forgotten him, and destroys those who have.
So where you want to go?
Mm.
Hello?
We should not forget him.
This is the greatest loss. The greatest loss is when we...
Forget Krishna.
Yes. Correct.
Yes, true.
There's no other greater loss.
If even for a moment remembrance of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is missed, that is the greatest loss, that is the greatest illusion, and that is the greatest anomaly. The Lord.
Yes. Correct. Even for a moment, remembrance of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of God, is missed. That is the greatest loss. That is the greatest illusion, and that is the greatest anomaly. So this is from Vishnu Puranam. We should not waste time like this. The karmis are so expert in wasting time, you know? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
So we should not get into their nonsense. We should follow, try to become Krishna conscious. Any other questions? I think I've explained at length. Is there any more on this subject? Who asked this question?
Yes, Prabhu, I asked. Everything is clear, Prabhu. It's very clear.
Clear, huh?
Yes, super clear, Prabhu.
You go this other way, your heart will become weakened. That's why all these anarthas will start sailing in, you know.
Yes.
Very dangerous platform to fall down, you know. So devotees are very careful. They have to lose Krishna consciousness. It's the biggest, what we say, anomaly. Whole life is. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Any other questions? I think we have almost come to our time. Huh?
Prabhu, just we were reading now in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 12.135. It says once in the purport, long purport we were reading. 12.135.
Yes.
In the purport it says that once the heart is cleansed, we should invite Lord Sri Krishna to sit down. I think the first one starts with, the paragraph starts with by his practical activity. You have to come down.
Correct.
So, more down. I think 10 paragraphs down to.
The heart, the Lord sitting in the heart is in the beginning, no?
No, here it comes next after that. After J, next word. To give practical instructions. Yeah, some more down to. Yeah, here by his practical activity. So we should invite Lord. So by his practical activities, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed us how to cleanse our hearts. Once the heart is cleansed, we should invite Lord Krishna to sit down, and we should observe the festival by distributing prasadam and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So observe the festival, Prabhu, the festival.
Yeah, because the moment you have the Lord in your heart, then you always blissfully engage in either distributing prasadam or chanting Hare Krishna, you know. You understand?
Okay.
The moment you have the Lord, you know, you connected, you know, then you are very enthusiastic, you know. You want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do so many things, no?
Yes.
For Krishna. Whereas the materialists, they are always want to do so many things because they were looking for money, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
But here, the devotees, you know, they are fired up, as we say, no? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you chant in the morning and you know, wake up and do everything. Then you are thinking how to spread Krishna consciousness. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. So
if you don't do that, then you don't get the inspiration, no? Yes. So whenever you spread Krishna consciousness, how you spread? You like to give prasadam, or you will be what? Preaching or giving books or something, correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Isn't it? What else you want to do? I don't think you want to do Rasa Leela, dancing with Krishna.
No, Prabhu.
Huh?
Yes. No.
You understand? So the moment you become Krishna conscious, then all these things will flow, you know.
Yes, sir. So it means every weekend we are all already observing the festival, Prabhu, by prasadam distribution.
Yes, otherwise why you want to do? Nobody want to do what? Who want to go? Correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, Prabhu.
Then we will stay at home and cook a nice feast and say, look, we will enjoy the feast at home. Then eating and sleeping starts, no preaching, then eventually finish.
Yes, Prabhu.
So that means the moment you invite the Lord in the heart, that means you will do preaching. You understand?
Yes.
That is why a dead man cannot preach. How he become dead like this?
So, Prabhu, the follow-up question is that that weakness of heart also results in in people compromising with the philosophy, isn't it?
Yes, that's not. I showed you, speaking against Vedic instruction, no.
Yes.
Offending the spiritual master, right?
Yes, all those conditions of trying to do karma kanda thing, and one thing I showed, no, just now.
Yes, Prabhu.
Right?
One after another.
So if you compromise with the Vedic teaching, means you are what?
Offending Guru or Krishna.
No, the Shastra, this one is written for, old time, now we are modern, no? Correct? Start thinking all this nonsense.
Yes, true.
Yes. So you see this verse. You want to read this?
This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.10.11. All the members of the Kuru dynasty offered respects when Krishna was leaving Hastinapur after the battle of Kurukshetra. Krishna was going to his own kingdom, and all the members of Kuru dynasty were overwhelmed by his departure. This verse was spoken in that connection by Sudha Goswami. A pure devotee becomes attached to Krishna by hearing the Lord's glories. The Lord's glories and the Lord himself are identical. One has to be qualified to understand this absolute truth. Therefore, one should be given a chance to associate with a pure devotee. Our Krishna conscious movement is meant for this purpose. We want to create pure devotees so that other people will benefit by their association. In this way, the number of pure devotees increases. Professional preachers cannot create pure devotees. There are many professional preachers of Srimad Bhagavatam who read this work to earn their livelihood. However, they cannot convert materialistic people to devotional service. Only a pure devotee can convert others to pure devotional service. It is therefore important for all the preachers in our Krishna conscious movement to first become pure devotees and follow the regulative principles, refraining from illicit sex, mithai eating, gambling, and intoxication. They should regularly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra on their beats, follow the devotional process, rise early in the morning, attend Mangalarati, and recite Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita regularly. In this way, one can become purified and free from all material contamination. Again, that this word, Prabhu, material contamination, again.
Yes.
Bhakti or devotion service means engaging all one's senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is free from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of Lord Narada Pancharatra. To make a show of devotional service will not help one. One must be a pure devotee following the devotional process. Then one can convert others to devotion service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu practiced devotion service and preached, Apani Achari Bhakti Karila Prachara. If a preacher behaves properly in devotional service, he will be able to convert others. Otherwise, his preaching will have no effect.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, Prabhu.
No, you don't follow, as Prabhupada said, if you don't follow the program, they should regularly chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Of course, they must follow the 4 principles. On their beats, following the devotional process, rising early in the morning, attend Mangala Arti again, recite Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita regularly. In this way, one becomes purified and free from all material contamination. Right? We chant Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Huh? So many things are there. We have to do this properly, That's the problem. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I came 3 days already morning. I think tomorrow I can rest, no? Huh?
Yes, true.
Prabhu didn't understand.
That's what I think. No, I went, 4 days already, no. Today I'll rest, no? Correct?
Yes, bro. Yeah, that's how even in my early days I used to think, oh, one day it's done.
You see how?
And some places they have Sunday
they
holiday.
think like that. One of the
Some places they say like you do it just 3 or 4 times a week. Like other days you don't need to do it.
Is it? They say, huh?
And some people say Sunday holiday.
Yes.
Sunday holiday, huh?
There was one devotee, Prabhu, for some service, festival service. He did a lot of service. And after the end of the day, he said, I have done service sufficient for 1 year. No, 1 year bhakti I've done enough.
So you shouldn't eat for 1 year also, no? Right? Since you already had so much also, you should also stop eating for 1 year. That will also be good. Become like a Durva Maharaj, no? Right? And when you say that, he will get very upset. No, how you can talk like this? Huh? Yeah, correct? Tomorrow, by the way, you don't come and eat because you already did 1 year. Tomorrow I'm having a big feast. You are not invited, huh?
Yeah.
Right? All nonsense.
Yes, bro.
You can see this verse?
Yeah. One who engages in full devotion service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman.
So what does this unfailing means?
Every day.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
The problem with these guys, they all speculate. You understand? You say anything, you show me the verse to back your statement, then I will accept. Yes? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
All I know is that the more you do devotional service, the more you want to do devotional service. Huh? An ocean of unending bliss, correct? Yes or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, one must be very sinful or might have material desires for not coming to attend your classes.
My classes are difficult for them because they don't like to hear all this, no?
Yeah.
Yes? Yes or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
Who like to sit with me for 2 hours?
Outrightly rejected. Unfortunately, they're so unfortunate, I feel, Prabhu.
True. Initially, Prabhu, when I think 10 years ago or something, when I used to see ISKM videos, some videos used to be for 2 hours long or 3 hours long. I said, 2 hours long? Now I feel, 2 hours is less.
I already did 2 hours already now.
We didn't feel the time at all, Prabhu.
You see here, always engage in activities of devotional service. The devotee feel ever increasingly fresh and new in all the activities. Huh? Understand? So once you are in devotional service, you always feel like this. There's no question of stopping. Because the Lord in the heart, the all-knower, the super soul within the heart of the makes everything increasingly fresh. Just now we said, no, we are inviting the Lord to the heart, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
So the two things we will do, prasadam distribution and chanting Hare Krishna, correct? And we are thinking how to expand and how to expand. This is how. Because the Lord in the heart, He will give you that strength, no? Understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
We have to get connected. And how to get connected? You have to follow the direction of the Guru.
Yes.
See, now you all got connected. And now you see all the activities in America, there are some suddenly everywhere, so many ISKM activities going on. Yeah?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Wow, people are, hey, what is this ISKM now? What are they doing? Yes?
Yes,
Because you're connected. In fact, you're thinking, I have no time now. Huh?
Yes, true.
Isn't that? But if you go to another group, you're going to other group, they're wasting time. Raskarba. What is that?
Yeah.
That means they are interested in the opposite sex. You must get encouragement either by the spiritual energy or the material energy, correct?
Correct.
So if you are not in spiritual energy, then you will be thinking how to get connected with the material energy.
Yes, bro.
And material energy means what? Opposite sex, correct? That's how they get inspired. Yes. Common sense, yes.
Yes, true.
Yes, bro.
So if the first thing you get attracted to Maya is the body of the women, or for the woman, the body of the man. That's also there. The verse is there. It's not that I'm just speculating. Huh? Understand?
And also we have to beg for service, Prabhu, in other camps. Here we can create our own service for Krishna.
No, but the main thing is that you must be connected.
Yeah. Yes,
if you're not connected, that's now we read also. If you're not initiated, Krishna will not accept any service from the person. Yes?
The body has to be spiritualized.
Yes. Otherwise, how Krishna, he won't deal with anybody, no? Yes?
Yes, true.
Yes, true.
So that's why Guru is so important, no? Correct?
Yes, true.
Yes, true.
So we try to understand. Therefore, it's very important, no? Hearing properly, you know. If you don't hear properly, then why Krishna spend so much time in giving all these books or what? Spacing out, is it? Just to keep in the prayer room. Huh?
No.
That's what they do. These guys all buy a copy of the Bhagavad Gita and keep in the prayer room. They say, this thing we must important in the prayer room. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes? Yes or not?
Yes.
So this is the problem, you know. These guys all know nothing about nothing and then praying to some crazy babas.
Yeah. Yes.
Very unfortunate.
So Prabhu, I have I think Vijay Chetan Prabhu asked me this question. I was also not sure. Regarding the Mangalartis in the morning, we mentioned and you mentioned, and Prabhupada also mentions 1.5 hours before sunrise, you must get up and do the Mangalarti. So when we go up north, Prabhu, towards North Pole, what happens is during the summer, the night time is reduced. Only, Alaska, if you see, the sun never sets in summer. So Vijay Chaitanya Prabhu's place, Spokane, also it's very close to it's at Canada border. So right now sunrise is happening at 4 o'clock itself. So then
You
Prabhu
carry
has to
on.
wake up at
You carry on doing at 4:30, huh?
Yeah, the same time I said the same thing.
Yeah,
We fix what
don't have to change nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
Wake up and just do. Whether the sun is up or not, you do.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, and in winter, the sun rises at 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock. So yeah.
What to do? You're in such a kind of place. That's why what kind of karma, all these kind of people,
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
So let him just do at 4:30.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, Prabhu.
So that is the problem, because whole world, we all got different kind of timing and so many things, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you can see here, the moment you don't do all these things, then this what has happened, is it? The first thing you will get attracted to the body of the women.
Oh. One who has, go ahead, sorry.
One who has failed to control his senses immediately feels attraction upon seeing a woman's form, which is created by the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. Indeed, when a woman speaks with enticing words, smiles coquettishly, and moves her body sensuously, his mind is immediately captured, and thus he falls blindly into the darkness of material existence, just as the moth maddened by the fire rushes blindly into the flames. A foolish man with no discrimination is immediately aroused at the sight of a woman beautifully decorated with golden ornaments, fine clothing, and other accoutrements. Being eager for sense gratification, such a fool loses all intelligence and is destroyed just like a moth rushing into a blazing fire.
So this is what happens in the mode of passion, no? The moment you fall down, this is what immediately you are attracted. Just like the Saubari Muni, he fell down after cursing Garuda, no? And he came out of the water and he married about 50 queens.
Yes, true.
Correct? So this is what happens. The mode of passion. So if you are getting attracted to the body of the woman or for the woman the man, then you know something is not right in my consciousness. Yes? So I better become more serious. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Some question is there. Spiritual life is Akanda Utsava. Yes. Spiritual life is Akanda Utsava because every moment you are enjoying bliss. Unending, uninterrupted festival. Akanda Utsava is uninterrupted festival of Krishna consciousness. But materially you cannot do that. Material thing has got a beginning and an end. Yes?
Yes,
only spiritually you can, materially is not possible. Give me a minute. Just take this out. Who knows this verse? Initially, it is like nectar. In the end, it's poison.
1837. 1837.
1837. Yeah. So here, this is material pleasure. This is spiritual pleasure. Beginning is like poison, but the end is like nectar. If you awaken one to self-realize, is said to be happiness, the mode of goodness. And this is what it is, material pleasure. And the happiness which is derived from the contact of senses with their objects, which appear like nectar at first, but poison in the end, is said to be the nature of passion. Yes?
Yes, sir.
That's why devotees, they don't want to do anything material. Whereas spiritual is, ever increasing. So that Seto Darpanam, that verse?
Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam.
Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, ocean of unending bliss. And here is an ocean of ending bliss. Which one you want? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes or not?
Not even an ocean, bro. Drop of water in the desert.
Correct. You understand? So, woman, you chase happiness, distress is already following in the material world. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes, bro.
The moment you want to enjoy, distress is already coming.
Oh my Lord,
7:42, right, Prabhu?
7:7, huh? My God, is 7:9. See, I'm kind of going out of synchronization. Hey?
In this material world, every materialist desires to achieve happiness and diminish his distress, and therefore he acts accordingly. Actually, however, he is happy as long as one does not endeavor for happiness. As soon as one begins his activities for happiness, his condition of distress begins.
Hey? Correct? Purport.
Every conditioned soul is bound by the laws of material nature as described in Bhagavad Gita. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha. Bhagavad Gita 3.27. Everyone has achieved a certain type of body given by material nature according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated on as on a machine made of the material energy. Bhagavad Gita 18.61. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, is present in everyone's heart, and as the living entity desires, the Lord gives him facilities with which to work according to his ambitions in different grades of bodies. The body is just like an instrument by which the living entity
Tell me.
works according to false desires for happiness and thus suffers the pangs of death, old age, and disease in different standards of life. Everyone
just tell him to put 1,500 now. Okay. They have some condition Islam's. So they want standing instruction from outside for the levy and what the salary.
Everyone begins his activities with some plan and ambition, but actually from the beginning of one's plan to the end, one does not derive any happiness. On the contrary, as soon as one begins acting according to his plan, his life of distress immediately begins. Therefore, one should not be ambitious to dissipate the unhappy conditions of life, for one cannot do anything about them. Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Bhagavad Gita 3.27. Although one is acting according to false ambitions, he thinks he can improve his material conditions by his activities. The Vedas enjoin that one should not try to increase happiness or decrease distress, for this is futile. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovidaha. One should work for the self-realization, not for economic development, which is impossible to improve. Without endeavor, one can get the amount of happiness and distress for which he is destined, and one cannot change this. Therefore, it is better to use one's time for advancement in the spiritual life of Krishna consciousness. One should not waste his valuable life as a human being. It is better to utilize this life for developing Krishna consciousness without ambitions for so-called happiness.
Very well.
Yes.
Prabhupada is again enforcing here, not for economic development.
Yeah, but every Indian, no, oh no, work hard, study hard. Huh?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. No, you go to America, everything will be finished. All your problems. Huh? I think your problem begins when you go to America.
Very true.
Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing.
Yes. So you can see how this karma very dangerous. Yes.
Yes.
That's the problem, you know. They're all into this philosophy that no, you work and then you can give something to the temple, no? Correct?
100% true.
No, you study hard, you work, and then, you can then help the temple, you know. Yeah, this is a nonsense. Although the temple is requiring your peanuts, you know. Why can't you give your life?
Yes, true.
Correct.
Yeah. But they counteract by saying that, Prabhupada also encouraged some of them to work and donate to the temple.
Prabhupada encourage everyone to surrender also there, right?
Yeah.
So which one you want? You want him to follow the what? What? Huh? Isn't it? All right, you work, nobody's saying. Then when you lose your job, don't come to the temple and pray. Huh? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
That's what they do. Enjoy. You call them to come for program, they're so busy, Prabhu, busy. Huh? Yes?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
And when they lose the job, every day they in the temple, Prabhu, you please help me. Yes or not? Prabhu, you know someone who can, help me and
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Very much true, Prabhu. Yes.
I mean, look at these guys, boys. Correct?
Yeah.
Stupid. That's why nobody come for my classes, you know. Yeah? You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
Says here, Krishna is speaking, huh? Say this verse. Yatava janma sapalyam dehinam iha deshu Prabhupada quote this many times. Huh? Prane arte diya vacha sreya acharanam sada. Okay? So you can serve the Lord. It's the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities of benefit of others with his life. First one is what?
Life.
First is
then second one is what?
Wealth.
Third one?
Intelligence.
And the last one? So, why you don't want to do the first one? Life? Krishna would have said first one, wealth, no? Correct? Huh? So anyone who gives his life, correct? Krishna considers him what?
As equivalent to him, something like that.
I think this is the one. Let me see here.
As same as him, something.
Read, please read.
Since pure devotees give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches, and even their lives simply to serve me, without any desire for material improvement in this life or in the next, how can I give up such devotees at any time?
Yes, there's some group of people really hate the full-time devotees, you know. Whenever we preach, you become full-time, they have counter-argument. They go secretly and talk to him. No, you don't do this all, you know. You got family, you have to take care of your father, mother. You study, you know, you, huh? Yes. They encourage them. They encourage them to go to this crazy school and try to be a big man. Why don't you? No, but what happens if the temple kick you out? They say this. Why the temple has to kick you out? Huh? Tell me. Correct?
Yeah.
You always, if the temple kick you out, then you got no job, and no, like all the Gurukul kids now, they are crying. Oh, see, we went to Gurukul and we studied in Krishna consciousness, and now we cannot go to the material life. Why you want to go to material life? Why don't you go back? That they don't say that. And they want Maya, so definitely they get kicked around. Yes or not?
So true, Prabhu.
I don't understand the real meaning of Krishna consciousness. How much you definitely become safe by becoming a devotee. When Krishna says he takes care, you know. Yes? Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
But if you want to use Krishna, then of course Krishna will never allow that. So this is why to surrender, serve.
Prabhu, for Prabhus, they are so fortunate that they can give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches. But women are so unfortunate, Prabhu.
So therefore understand the body of a woman is bad.
It's true. Definitely. I agree, Prabhu.
Correct.
Agree.
No, women are crazy. They say, no, we are equal, especially America. My goodness. Huh?
I always depend to that.
More than America now in India.
India, yeah, because they want to be equal. They want everything equal, you know. Crazy. You cannot be equal. Yeah. You have to understand the birth of woman is less.
Yes.
Right? She need to be protected. She cannot come full time. So many problems. And then the husband will take sannyas. She have to stay again with the son. If there's no son, another problem. Huh? Yes? Correct? That's why we have, it says very clearly, don't get attracted to the body of a woman. Why? Yes? Because if you don't want to be a devotee, then you want to do all nonsense, then the woman's body is the best. Correct? Right or not? the mode of passion, then what? Anyway, she also again, they kind of get involved, and then they have so many children, and the man runs away, and he got a big problem. Yes? Yes or not? So why we have to get into all these things? Better accept, I made a mistake in this body. I don't want to get again another body. Let me become serious in my Krishna consciousness. Just like, that so many examples, of exalted women. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many prayers in the Bhagavatam is from exalted women only, no? Kunti
Yes.
Devi, Devahuti. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, bro.
So the body is not, the main thing is to spiritualize it. That's it. You follow? Because we should always think ourselves as inferior. That is the best quality. Because if you think you are very advanced, then that's no good. You fall down. Yes?
Yes, bro.
When you come out of this bodily concept, understand you're a spirit soul, then everything is okay. But as long as you are trapped in the woman body, you act like that. Yes? Just like Kunti Devi is praying, correct? We women, we are less intelligent. How we can, it's humble. Because the Lord is in the heart, no? He can inspire. You see, the topmost devotee are who? Men. Who is the topmost devotee? Men or women?
Nobody. I mean, spirit souls, right? There's no
Gopis,
the
gopis.
Yeah, the gopis are the topmost, correct? Yes.
Yes.
So there is no what we say, obstruction in becoming Krishna conscious, either man body or woman body. You understand? But we have to think that we are trapped in this body. There's so many things I can only do. You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
But spiritually, there's no power. Because if you capture Krishna, then what more you need? Yes? Yes or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
So Krishna says here, I think it is here. Let me give me a minute to get this verse for you. So there is no obstruction, whether man body or woman body. Because woman body is not very auspicious for body, but the soul is not limited, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Correct.
But gopis are all great devotees, Prabhu. For normal
So our
women.
whole idea is to follow the example, no? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is following the example. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
So he's teaching us Gopi in Bharta Pada Kamalayo, correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
My devotees may or may not know exactly what I am, who I am, and how I exist. But if they worship me with unalloyed love, then I consider them to be the best of the Buddhists. Yes?
It's true.
Right or not? You follow? So therefore, we have to come to our spiritual plane, Yes?
Yes, true.
Yes or not? The idea is to follow in their footsteps, although those hundreds of thousands of gopis, actually 3 million, understand me to be their most charming lover and ardently desiring me in that way, unaware of my actual position. Yet, by intimately associating with me, the gopis attain me, the supreme absolute truth. Yes? So that is the idea. Whatever body, the main thing is to capture Krishna. Then you don't care which body you take, no? Yes? Yes or not?
Yes, true.
Now, once you got Krishna, you got everything. Correct? But you don't have Krishna and you got everything, then what's the use? So once you get Krishna, everything is there. It doesn't have Krishna, then it is the most confidential part of the Vedic scripture, Sundar's one. It is to disclose. It is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise and endeavors will know perfection. I can go on and on and on.
Wonderful.
You never, I don't think you're getting tired. You're not late for you to sleep or something.
East Coast people will be very late now, 11:30.
Hey, Krishna, it's around 11, but I have one question that is very itching. It's in my head right now. My question is, I was hearing a video of a Ritvik who was saying that we, in order to grow faster or to further engage in Srila Prabhupada's mission, we would have to assemble with other Ritviks, even though they may have different understandings of what Prabhupada wanted. What would be a good approach to that understanding? Because I myself, I was thinking it may water down what Prabhupada wants if we go through that process.
Can you just summarize what you say?
No, I was hearing a video where another Ritvik, he was saying that we should work with other Ritviks, even though they may have other deviations. He was basing that on how Prabhupada wanted a diverse temples, I guess.
No, this is not correct.
Right.
I show you one verse before. I've got, so many things to explain now, but I'll just quickly go to your verse since it's already 10 o'clock there. 11 o'clock, is it?
11 o'clock.
So here, Prabhupada said this. He never said we work with all retreats. He said here. He says here, you want to read this?
Yes, I want to read. Friendship should be cemented between persons with mutual interest and understanding. Yes. Such persons are said to be Swajati, of the same caste. The devotee should avoid a person whose character is not fixed in the standard understanding, even though he may be a Vaishnava or a devotee of Krishna. If his character is not correctly representative, then he should be avoided. One should steadily control the senses and mind and strictly follow the rules and regulations. And he should make friendship with persons of the same standard. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Clear?
Clear.
There's not such thing that is Ritvik and we are Ritvik and all. There's many Ritviks have some crazy idea also. And many of them don't even follow what Prabhupada said.
Yes.
You understand? So you cannot say that, oh, they are Ritvik, we are Ritviks and all. Yeah, we should be all friends. No, cannot. You understand?
Yes.
It's not correctly representative, then he should be avoided, Prabhupada said. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so we have to go to the other question in the chat. He's asking this question. What happened regarding one of the points you made, Prabhu, that when one sees within oneself some symptoms of becoming attracted to materialistic things and to the opposite side, one should strengthen oneself by becoming serious in devotional service. By this time around, it's not going to be that easy for him to strengthen himself, because despite hearing this instruction sufficient number of times, he's still way off track. So what specific things should one do to uplift himself once again to the platform of devotional service and ensure that he may not deviate again? Okay, the main thing is that when you get into the mode of passion, which is the reason why you're getting attracted, so that means you try to stop your passionate activities. What are passionate activities? Firstly, the foods. If you eat too much of spicy things and chilies and this and that, you're going to says in the Shastra, sugar, all this will make you become more into the mode of passion. Eating has to be checked. Then you have also to associate with devotees more strongly. Reveal your mind. Yeah. And of course, if you wake up in the morning, that's the way to come to the mode of goodness. Mangala Arti, chanting with devotees. And main thing, prasadam, eating only Krishna prasadam, not too spicy, and taking association of devotees, revealing their mind, serving the devotees, and of course, hearing from the devotees, and the morning program. If you do this, then easily you will come out of this problem. And stop watching all this, so many passionate things, in the phone. There's so many, correct? YouTube, Facebook, so many things. TikTok, it will TikTok your life away. Huh? It is ticking. When you go to this, it's ticking, TikTok, 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 and then it fall down. Finish.
TikTok, the time how it goes, you will not know at all. Right?
Yeah.
It's completely
crazy thing. Yes. And nothing but the woman's body. That's all it sells there. Understand? Scantily dressed, talking some rubbish, doing so many nonsense. How your mind will become so pure, unless you can think of Krishna there, then I don't know what to say. Yes. Very dangerous.
Yes.
So if you follow this guideline, definitely you'll be out of it. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you have to, what is the word? To look inside you. What is that? Introspecting, is it? Yeah. And you see, and pray to Krishna, give me intelligence, how I come out. Firstly, you want to come out? No, you don't want to come out. Who can help? Correct? Yes or not?
Yes.
So you try this, and I'm sure it will work. I'm guarantee. Anything else? I think it's getting late, no? For all of you, I'm really sorry. Having all these long sessions.
No, Prabhu, it's very enlivening, really. We should start early, Prabhu. 6 o'clock we should start our time.
Then I can't do my chanting then, no?
Oh, no. Okay, sorry, Prabhu. Your time will be 8 o'clock.
No, 6:30, 8 o'clock, is it? 8 o'clock, you see, I'm going above 8 o'clock, 2 hours more, correct?
Yeah.
So you do one thing, if you have your questions and all that, you can always write to me or something, or you can call me. So many times you have, huh?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
So I hope you have understood this thoroughly. How the body can slip away into Maya.
Yes, Prabhu.
So
Prabhu, please bless all. Please bless us to come out of this Maya soon, Prabhu.
I think I was going to ask the other way around. You please bless me that I don't get into this stuff.
No, Prabhu, you are helping us to come out.
So we all have to be careful, as Prabhupada said, you know, even though he's leading us with the flying, flapping of the wings like a lead bird, everyone also must flap and fly, no? Yes?
Yes,
If
Prabhu.
someone
Yes,
think that Prabhupada is flying the ship, you know, I will just, you know, sit around, then you will fall down the moment you stop flapping. Yes? So everyone is very important. Everyone must work hard, you know. Take it seriously, as Prabhupada said. Take it seriously. Then Maya will not touch us. So become strong. What to do? This is the process. There's no other way to it. Correct?
Yes, bro.
Okay, I guess I have to stop here, and all of you, I have to give you my humble obeisances. I
Please
hope
accept our
you.
humble
Thank you,
obeisances.
Prabhuji.
Thank you
Prabhuji,
so much,
one
Prabhu.
last question.
You cannot pay obeisances with one hand.
Sorry, hold on. Two hands.
Yes, it says in the Bhagavad Nectar devotion, you cannot pay obeisances with one hand.
Yes.
Now you can eat in one hand for sure.